Welcome, everybody. We're so glad to have you guys here today. February 16th, this is our February 2023 Customer Success webinar, and our topic is all about audiences. And I have some great sidekicks here with me today to help ensure we give you guys great value. I've got Helen Triplett. Say hello, Helen.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Kayla Moore. Hey, Kayla.
Good morning.
So super excited to have you guys join us today. We are going to talk about certainly audiences, why they're so important. We're going to talk about what is an audience, what audiences can Deep Target provide you. We're going to talk about use cases for success. We've had a bunch of different customers of ours, of you guys, doing different things with the audiences, and that's really cool. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to have a Java Joy at the end. So hang around for the end, and maybe you can get a free coffee as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to show is something that we've been showing inside of many of our presentations here recently, and it just gives you a framework of what is the engagement lifecycle. So we all know how this transpires actually, but we wanted to put some graphics to it so that we could follow up on just talking about each of these three areas. So first of all, it's really important to identify who that you're therefore going to go after, because you want to get to the right person, the right time, right product, service. And then we're going to, at that point, use that audience to engage, communicate, invite, engage. And then we want to see the results that were generated and therefore redirect our actions, make our new decisions, perhaps, in what we're pursuing. Okay, so always in motion, if you will. Okay, so what is an audience? First of all, it's all about who should we engage. The most critical component, in our opinion, of the engagement lifecycle. You want to identify that set of users that are most interested in a particular product or service. And why is that so important? Well, why not tell everybody about everything you're interested in? So that's pretty much the concept of a billboard, where as people drive by, you don't know who they are or what they're interested in, but you're hoping that you'll snag a couple of bits of interest. Well, today's audiences are different. They're already consumed by a lot of noise, and they're really looking for valuable information. And the bottom line of that means if they are logged into an online banking or mobile application from you guys, they expect you to know who they are. And if you do engage with them at the right time, when they are interested in a financial product, that's going to grow your relationship and your trust versus just being another vendor sending me, I said junk, but that might be harsh, but some people might think it's junk. And the reason I say that is I log into some apps and I get random ads that I have no interest in at all, and I can't stop them. And it's quite annoying, honestly. So the bottom line is, how do you want your customers or members to think of you? And then finally, is growth important to your FI? So going into 2023, we know that there's a lot of challenges in the economy today, and it's going to be very, very hard to grow your FI unless you really engage your members and attract new members, of course, but you've got to keep your members, and being relevant and building relationship will build loyalty. And so I'm bracing Helen for a comment here to augment this, but how do you measure your customer or member loyalty? Just think about that for just a minute. How do you measure it? And Helen and I talked to one of our big customers here recently. And Helen, what did they tell us?
Well, some of our customers, they look at different things. They look at how many products and services they have. It's not just if they have a product, but do they have e-statements? Do they have bill pay? Do they have direct deposit? Those types of things. But also you might want to look at, how many years they've been with your institution. Have they been there 5 years? Have they been there 40 years? I mean, we have some customers who are longtime members like that. So, just that's one thing that we would like some feedback from you here on the call today is how do you at your institution measure loyalty? And are you looking at loyalty?
That's exactly right. So, so just think about that. If you do have some input for us at a later time, please tell us how you measure. We're very interested. In particular, Helen and I were talking to a credit union, and they said that they just basically do it on account number. And they said if they said they're a member is they consider highly loyal if they have 5 or more products. Well, that's really interesting. So it's just based on product. So anyway, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so that's an audience. So who is the hardest question once again? But we don't think so with Deep Target. We think we help you in a lot of ways figure out who to target and do it really easily. And part of that process is when you put together the automated, when you guys start with SOAR or augment your data, you automate your feeds of data to us. And again, that can have information from credit reports, other bits of information that you guys keep around, and even lists you can upload into DTarget. But all that can be augmented together so that then when we go do a discovery and identify an audience, it can be the best discovery possible. Okay, so once we do that, then off go those campaigns to those audiences, and that can make it really a really good engaging experience. So how do you create an audience in Deep Target? After we've done the input, you can access audiences based on target by rule, which is as an administrator, you define what that rule is going to look like. I'm not going to go into detail because Helen, I know all you guys love to hear Helen's insights. She's going to go into detail on each one of them specifically. Targeted by predictive model, which is our AI machine learning, or this is the list that you've uploaded into the system, but there's some aspects of that you want to think about. And then finally, there's all users campaigns. So this is I'm throwing this out here also for conversation. Within Deep Target today, when you use any of these, you can export the audience. With an all user campaign, you can't export an audience because we assume that list of users. You know the whole list. So if that's something you guys would like us to add to Deep Target, so think for just a minute. Would it be helpful or easy for you if we created an export audience capability out of an all user campaign? So I'm gonna let you just ponder that for just a minute and let us know if you do. We love to help add that if you need it. Okay, so how's an audience used in Deep Target? Well, certainly we're going to direct to those users inside of each campaign when they log in online banking mobile, those campaigns. But we also have an email and text capability you may be aware of. So you can use that audience for yourselves directly into an email capability and or text if you have phone numbers. And certainly other ways are direct mail, call centers, teller messages. I'm not sure if you guys send off messages to your tellers. So when they engage with a particular member, they might have some insight of things to share with them. But that's possible as well. Okay. And we'd love to hear other ways that you might use audiences that we haven't even thought of. Okay. So let's review our audience types. So with Helen, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay. So first off, we're going to talk about the targeting methods available to you in Deep Target, and how to choose the right method based on the requirements that you have. And the reason why we're doing this again today is since we cover targeting periodically in our webinars is a refresher for those of you who have been with us for a while, but you might want to use and change your method of targeting, based on the information that you have now. And so we're also going to include some examples of how your peers have used different methods, to get, to grow deposits. And I know, a lot of our our customers today are like, that's a big focus for them now. They're going to focus on deposits. So let's take a look at those. So on target by rule, that's one way you can target. And that's the way, the method that you want to use when you have specific conditions that must be met in order to qualify for a campaign. So this could mean a customer must meet an age requirement, have a minimum balance, have particular products, they live in a particular zip code, or they, go to a certain branch. Those are the different ways that you can use this. It can be used for all the different types of categories of campaigns that you've got. And it is a great option when you want to do generational targeting. And so in order to use it, your data extracts must include the data for the conditions that you want to use. And the real advantage here is it lets you have control over the criteria, and you can make the rules as sophisticated as you want. So, as you can build your own rule in Deep Target using the build rule capability, or you can submit the rule request to Deep Target for more complicated rules that you got. And the beauty of this is you set it up once, and the targeting criteria is automatically updated every single time your data is uploaded. So every single day, if you're getting your extracts to us every day, your audiences for each of those campaigns is updated daily based on, meeting that criteria. So let's take a look at some examples of how this has been used. So I'm gonna let Kayla talk about this one.
Alrighty, so on the left, you see two of the same, they're different campaigns, but they are offering the same product, the same Kasasa, but they're using two different images for generational targeting, and then going into target by rule and doing the first campaign by age 49 through 80 who don't have a Kasasa. And they even got more specific with the specific product code instead of just the account type. And then the next campaign, again, same product, but they did age 22 to 48. Over to the right, we have more generic type targeting with member for at least 30 days since they've opened an account, but they don't have a checking account yet. And then beneath that, we have a more specific rule. And with this, I want to go back and say what Helen mentioned, anything that's in your data, we can build a rule by, and this is one of the more sophisticated rules. So they're using age, a couple of flags in their data. They even have credit score. And then they're adding in the balance there if their deposit balance is greater than or equal to 5,000. And they don't have any delinquent flags or anything on loans. So this is using information for both the account file and the individual file, pulling all of that together to make one big specific rule.
And to augment that a little bit, as we talk about this, rules depend on specific dates. Rules that depend on specific dates like birthdays or maturity dates would determine how frequently you want to upload your data or set up some campaigns. Because for a birthday campaign, if you want to show it in their birth month, if you upload your data once a month on the 1st, that is sufficient enough. If you want to particularly target a day for that birthday or days around their birthday, that is when you would want to make sure that you're getting your data uploaded to us, every day. And remember, as you see in that last example, you can augment your data extracts with other information. And so, just contact our support team if you have any questions about, how you can do that, or if you want to do that. You don't have to have just, the 2 or 3 files that you typically upload. You can also supplement those with other different files. So, okay.
Awesome.
So our next sample is going to be target by predictive. So this is when you want to use this method. It's similar to target by rule, but it's even it's very powerful. And what's great about this one, it enables everybody, all FIs, to take advantage of this. And these are targeting techniques that could be used for large institutions. But all this is available to you in Deep Target. So you should choose this one when you want to target customers who are most likely to open an account in a particular category and have a category level constraint. So the way this works is you can have an age constraint as well as a product level constraint on this one. So that's when you want to use that. So if you want to use broad category targeting, this is the method that's preferred. It will not only segment it by those who have the product type, it will also segment by age. And it'll also segment based on our machine learning intelligence that we have gained, that we put together from over 200 financial institutions. And it ensures that campaign goes to the most relevant recipients. So as David was mentioning earlier, you just don't want to have it noise. If our model thinks that, these people, based on other propensities that we've seen, that a person would not necessarily want to see that ad, it wouldn't show to them. So this is when you want to use that. So with this method, also like target by rule, you set it up once, the targeting is automatically updated when you send in your new extracts. And the only other thing about this is that in order to use this audience type, your data extracts must contain a recommended set of fields. Now, from all the customers that I've looked at, I think everybody has the fields that are needed for this pretty much. But if you have any questions about that, like I say, reach out to our support team and we can take a look at that for you. So Kayla, you want to show some examples of that?
Yep. So we have 3 different images here promoting checking accounts. And the good thing about predictive model is it takes a little bit of the work out of it. So you can narrow down the age range, like Helen said, and which you want them to not already have to target. And then it goes from there using the trained models and the deep target system. So I like to call it a set it and forget it campaign. So it's always one of those good ones to have it out there. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen really, really great results with our customers who are using this for auto loans, particularly, and credit cards. So just to give you a hint on that one. Okay, and let's take a look at the next one. That's going to be target by list. So in target by list, that's a method you want to use when it's based on criteria that may not be in your data extract, or you have calculated who should get a particular offer based on some criteria or some other system that you have. It could be like a CRM or some other marketing automation program. Well, you can upload your list manually or automatically upload it. So that's a good thing. We have several customers who are doing the automatic upload on there. And the only prerequisite for this one is that the list has to have IDs that match the deep IDs that are in the deep target database. Now, we were talking with another customer the other day, and they mentioned that they've got access to data where it's transactional data. And that could be like, hey, I can tell if this person has shopped at Walmart or something. And they want to have a specific offer to go to people who shop at Walmart. Maybe they've got some special promo or something with that credit union or bank or whatever. So if you can get that kind of information out of another system, you can upload those IDs through a list and import that into Deep Target, and you can let those run. So, just kind of think out of the box. It doesn't always have to be just particular promos. I mean, this list could be, people who are new that have joined you, or you want to give them a particular prize, or you have some different things that you've got going there at your institution. So, so those are some examples that you can use there. So Kayla, you want to show some samples of those?
Yes, ma'am. So we have this mobile check deposit. So maybe in your system, you have people who don't have mobile deposit, and that shows it on your system, but it doesn't show it in the data extracts that we've received. So you could use the target by list feature to pull that list on your end and then upload it to this campaign, and only those individuals would see it. Down here at the groundhog certificate, they got even a little bit more specific. So they had the age range and they wanted them to already have a checking account, but this offer was for people within 5 miles of the branch, and they already had all of those addresses in their system. So they were just able to pull that and upload that list. And one more example that's not listed here that I know a ton of people use would be an example of like skip a pay or things like that. Again, not in your data, but you have it on your side. So you just upload that list to that campaign and you can go let those people know they qualify for skip a pay.
Mhm. And another example there too that I've seen a lot are people who want to do use this for pre-approvals. So if you've got particular percentages that go to different people for pre-approvals, they use this method. Okay, and now let's go on to all users. So the final method to target is using really an all users campaign type. And that's when you want to reach all of your customers and you have no specific age criteria or other, product-based criteria that you want to use. And this is what you want to use for is your communication vehicle for, let your customers know about your service, your community outreach, and general product offerings. It's particularly important in the mobile channel because it drives your customers to your website. Most people are sitting on their phones now. They're not sitting in front of a laptop, kind of poking around as much on things. So this is a really good method for some of your mobile channel. And so you don't have to supply data to deep target in order to run all users campaigns. And one of the things is probably all of you know, you really need to have one all users campaign running in all channels at all times. So all of your members and customers see some kind of communication from your institution. So here's some examples of some all users campaigns. These are for particular products, but you can take a look at those.
So just one more thing, in addition to products, a good one I like to tell people to have is, she mentioned community events, but also holidays that your branches or banks will be closed. So you could say for Memorial Day, President's Day, and you could set those up with a start and end date in campaign settings, but we won't get into that. But always good to have those up too, so people know not to come to the branch.
Okay.
Great. So really good. I had a comment, but I've already forgotten it. And let me see if it draws my attention. Oh, so Helen had mentioned always make sure you have one running. That's because there is a chance if you're only running a few campaigns that are product based, for instance, loans, deposits, that sort of thing, and people don't qualify for them, they're somehow targeted or predictive model. She's right. You want to make sure that something is showing up for them to keep their interest going. And we actually have, if anyone wanted to reach out to us, we have a campaign framework that we suggest for you to utilize so that you make sure you have good coverage of all your members at any time. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for that. So let's talk about a couple other aspects here that are really important. So how is an audience refined? Well, first of all, when data is updated. So if you have an audience related to target by rule or a targeted by predictive model, the data within those individuals that are in that audience, let's say on Monday, may change on Tuesday. So, and it could be as simple as somebody on Monday took out a loan, a credit card, a personal loan, what have you. And Tuesday, therefore, we don't want to show them that campaign. So the great thing about that is if we're getting your data every day, then we would see that in your data that Sue did open that credit card account, and therefore we would update the audience not to include Sue. So that's a real great thing that happens automatically for you. But the other question, this has come up and we've toyed with it over time. And we had the question last week from Holly, who I think is out there. When users engage, click, but don't purchase in a certain period of time, can those people be further engaged? Absolutely. Now, it's not an automated click in deep target to, let's say, inside the campaign settings to re-engage with some parameters. But I do see us doing that here one day soon, but we can do it, or help you do it but you can do it with a little elbow grease, honestly. And here's how you would do it. So in your campaign environment, in that particular campaign, let's say it's home equity, you can go to your campaign performance selection, and then here's everyone in a certain time period. So you might just pick 30 days and export that into a CSV or Excel, turn it into an Excel file of everyone that clicked. Okay, so for whatever month, let's say we'll just say December, and well, yeah, let's say January. You export. Now you had everybody that clicked in January, and so as a reminder, another quick way to follow up is our click to email capability. So I'll throw that out there. That's another really cool capability. When someone clicks, automatically an email can be sent to them that you have pre-created that looks like you're really in touch with their engagement, and it does follow up for them. Okay, threw that in there. Helen reminded me of that earlier. So now I have an Excel spreadsheet with all the clicks. Now I'm going to go into the influence conversions, and I'm also going to look at the HELOCs that closed. And in this case, we'll say January 1st through today, which is the 16th. And I'm going to export that. And so what I have is a click list and an open account list. And I combine them together and eliminate those that are included in the open list. So so you can do that in Excel, and then what you have is your retarget list. And therefore, you could take this list up. So since they clicked, you could have a campaign based on this list that then would say something like, hey, saw that you, it could even be, Bob, saw that you clicked last month. Is there anything we can do to help you going forward? And see if you can promote them. And once again, this is a lead list, so you could share it with your call center or your whomever's, if there's doing any kind of email, also retarget so that they get not only in deep target online banking and mobile, hey Bob, saw you click, get an email. Hey Bob, saw you clicked, might be interested in, we're here to help. Okay, so all that's possible. Hope that was helpful. We're happy to discuss it further with anybody that'd like to go into the detail of this. And we'd love to hear if this is something that you would like in the product to be more automated. Okay, great. So good conversation there. So here we are with the summary. Now you all should know real well what an audience is and what audiences Deep Target provides, how audiences are refined, and what else you can do with an audience, and a little discussion on retargeting as well. So we hope it was very helpful for you and generate some thoughts for you guys on how to go forward. Also want to remind you that coming at the end of March, we're going to have this automated roll, which is we call the, Helen, what do we call this?
I don't know, north-south roll.
North-south, thank you. We call it the north-south roll. And you can see it's randomized, and it's so it just gives a little more engagement, which is kind of cool. And we had a lot of people really find this to be awesome. We hope you guys do as well. And then don't forget, if you need help running your systems, I think we're up to double digits now in numbers of customers that are having us fly that plane for you guys, and to help you be more successful if at all possible. Okay, and don't forget, we do free training, and we do customer success webinars, and we do customer success reviews individually with you all the time. So reach out to set those up. Okay, so now it's Java Joy time, and we get to pick somebody who's still on the call with us here today, and Kayla gets the chance to randomly pick somebody. Kayla, who's our winner today?
I feel like I need like a sound effect for the little ticking.
Oh,
Let's see. Eddie Pradell.
who?
Eddie Pradell.
Eddie. Great job. So watch for an email. Eddie raised his hand. That means he's excited. Awesome. Way to go, Eddie. So watch for an email from me, and then one from Starbucks with your e-gift card here in the next 24 hours or so. Okay. Great. Thank you guys for being here. Be here next time. We're going to talk about new ideas on how to use your data for engagement. So we've talked about audiences. Let's do some cool things with that, and sign up for March if you haven't already. And besides, also, you may know when you get the link, you can sign up for all future webinars throughout the year. And we'd be excited about that always. So reach out to us, stay in touch with us. Super success. Thank you, Helen and Kayla, for being here. And thank you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody, for joining today. We
That's right.
appreciate it.
That's right. Have a great weekend. Great Monday off if you have that. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.